All right, let's get this show started.
In today's news, Michael Chandler believes the UFC has moved on from Conor McGregor. At the Contender Series post-fight press conference, Dana White stated that McGregor wouldn't be fighting at all in 2024. This quickly led to a lengthy reaction post from the Irishman, who slammed the UFC CEO's decision. The post was soon after deleted. However, not in time for Michael Chandler to respond, who tweeted, Conor, the sport will move on and thrive without you. Put to bed, laid to rest, soon a distant memory. You vastly overestimated your importance inside of this game for almost a decade. Godspeed. Izzy backs NGANNOU'S legacy in the UFC. In the days leading up to UFC 305, a promotional video was released featuring comments from Adesanya about the trio of African champions who once dominated the sport. Himself, Kamaru Usman, and Francis Ngannou. However, the edited UFC promo cut out Ngannou's name from Izzy's lips, even though Izzy had mentioned him during the original pre-fight press conference. Check this.
Bit of tension between yourself and DRICUS. Can you just run through why that is?
There's always tension whenever you fight anyone. This is a fight at the end of the day. We're not playing chess, we're fighting. So there's always gonna be tension there. But then him discrediting me, Kamaru Usman, he came in the UFC, I knew who he was a little bit, but I didn't go, oh, who the f is this fake dude coming in? I just said, cool, there's another African in the UFC. That ticked me off a little bit, so that's what started this. But again, I'll finish it. And also again, he tried to discredit the Three Kings and say that he's the real true African champion. And I was just like, it's a weird mindset, bro. Like, he came in the UFC, I knew who he was a little bit, but I didn't go, oh, who the fuck's this fake dude coming in? I just said, cool, there's another African in the UFC. But then him discrediting me, Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, that ticked me off a little bit. So that's what started this. But again, I'll finish it.
Speaking during Wednesday's UFC 305 Media Day, Adesanya addressed the drama, saying that the UFC can't erase Francis's legacy in the organization and that they should and will likely fix this ASAP.
And again, I respect Francis so much. He's an integral part of what we've done in the UFC. You know, right now I know there's competition between other promotions and the UFC and battles, but again, you can never erase history because the streets, the internet will always remember no matter what. And I think they'll fix this eventually, but it's just a lot of chest puffing.
Are you referring to that video clip that came out? That
not just that, just everything. Like, you know, just you can't erase Francis's legacy in the UFC. It's part of what we've done. You know, it's forever in history, in stone. So trying to whitewash it or just not talk about it is silly. And I know he's fighting for, you know, the PFL right now, but it's still history. You can't just turn a blind eye to it. So again, I'm sure they'll fix it eventually. This is how business goes with the UFC, and yeah.
DRICUS du Plessis runs into his Raw Adesanya's coach. The UFC has released a clip of DDP's respectful interaction with coach Eugene Behrman ahead of UFC 305. Dana White announces the UFC's return to Edmonton. In a recent interview with Sportsnet, Dana White announced that the UFC will return to Canada for the second time in 2024. The event is scheduled for November 2nd at Rogers Place in Edmonton, featuring Derek Lewis and Rose Namajunas as the headliners.
We're coming back to Edmonton, and November 2nd. I've been talking a lot about, you know, people ask me, where are you going to go? What other cities? You know, we're going back to Canada. I want to get back on a regular schedule, back up in Canada like we used to. So it seems like we're heading in that direction. The main event, the number 3 ranked Erin Blanchfield will take on Rose Namajunas. I think they're number 3 and number 5 in the women's flyweight division. And the co-main event will be Derek Lewis and Alexander Romanov. Romanov is ranked number 13, and Derek Lewis is number 11 in the heavyweight division.
Dana White believes Power Slap will be bigger than the UFC. The UFC president recently appeared on the Full Send podcast, where he and Bob Menery argued whether or not Power Slap will be bigger than the UFC.
And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again right now. This will be bigger than the UFC.
No chance. That's
I
how
said
long?
The UFC would be bigger than boxing. No chance.
No, I would believe
that's
that.
what everybody
I
used to
believe
say.
UFC would be bigger than boxing.
No, you didn't.
Dana,
I would.
No, you wouldn't. Not back then.
Because there's more variables. It's got to be
no
bullshit.
chance you would have.
That's why I was asking. That's why. How can you have something as an average person that turns on the TV and I watch Power Slap? I'll tell you what I do. Okay, I watch match 1,
and it's the same. I watch match 2, it's the same. I watch match 3, it's the same. And I watch 4, it's the same. Somebody gets slapped in the face and they're done. That's it.
Tell me what's the same about each match you watch.
Somebody raises their right hand. They then make direct contact with somebody's face. And then somebody either falls or they don't. That's it.
So what happens when you watch a fight?
You can take somebody down. You can cut somebody's elbow open.
Let's say it's a boxing match. Boxing, which has been popular for over 100 years.
Because,
what's different?
I mean, the athletes are obviously, I think, different.
They're throwing the same combinations.
I'm just saying I could help you.
You can't help yourself. You're going to help
me.
Fans of the comments quickly roasted Dana for his comments. One fan wrote, "To be honest, I'm surprised he didn't talk about how great John is. Dana lost all the love for the UFC and it's showing. UFC is declining. All he does is promote power slap, especially glazing a champ that hasn't defended his belt, and to say that the interim champ, who already defended his belt more than champ, still needs to work his way up. At least Bob's keeping it a bean here. After the wife thing, Dana will defend slapping till his dying day. It's a mockery to MMA, even discussing with power slap. I always agree with Dana, but this is absolutely nonsense. Slapping is not a professional sport. MMA is so diversified and hard to master, it's an art. Yeah, John Jones should enter power slap, Dana." Chris Curtis is out for the Kevin Holland fight at UFC 307. The UFC middleweight revealed late Wednesday night that he suffered an injury in training that will prevent him from competing until the latter part of 2024 or early 2025. He tweeted, "I'm fine guys, bit of a fracture in my left foot, caught Caio Borralho on the knee at the very end of the last round of sparring. The bigger problem is I have something called a Lisfranc injury as well, which means I'm not even supposed to be walking without crutches for the next 4 to 5 weeks, which sucks, but had it been any worse, it would have possibly been surgical. So count your blessings there. Hopefully I'll be okay for December. If not, I'll see you all next year. Thanks for all the comments and concerns." Aljamain Sterling reacts to Sean Strickland accusing his manager of sexual misconduct. As many of you know, manager Tiki Gosen has been accused of sexual misconduct by Strickland, who has allegedly had direct conversations with the women associated with the accusations. Gosen represents some of the top fighters in MMA, including Sterling, Brian Ortega, and Dustin Poirier. As the news swirls online, Sterling became the first big-name fighter at the Arsenal Sports Agency to address the accusations. Writing, "I'm receiving a lot of messages on social media regarding my management. I can 100% confirm that I learned of the accusations this week. I don't have all the information, but this is not a reflection of me in any form." Strickland replied, "Yeah man, trust me, I really want to release the girl's name, but I just can't. If I get sued, it will come out, but it's up to her and her family to come forward, not me." He followed up with, "I have received a couple messages from girls who are very credible, really bad, worse than I thought. If they want to stay in the shadows, I will respect that, but I'm going to ask them if I can share their messages with the UFC. Tiki, you don't deserve the life you have." Colby Covington grapples with Lil Pump. The rapper posted a short clip to his Instagram of him wrestling with Colby. In the clip, Pump has a guillotine locked in and Colby actually looks like he's struggling a bit.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Many fans mock Colby for nearly getting submitted by the rapper. One fan wrote, "Bro got subbed by Lil Pump, I'm done." Another said, "I've seen enough. Make Lil Pump a ranked welterweight." LMAO, they had to cut the video because Colby tapped. Bro even going a decision with Lil Pump. Just imagine what Bilal would do. Colby can just retire now. Anthony Smith reacts to Dominick Reyes being booked to fight him at UFC 310. Recently, multiple reports have come out that Smith will face Dominick Reyes at UFC 310. However, Lionheart himself is surprised by the announcement. Speaking on MMA Today with Dean Thomas, Smith revealed that he hasn't even received a contract.
I've had a couple potential bookings and offers and whatever with Reyes in the past. I don't know who on his team. One of them dudes got loose lips. They hadn't even, from the time they called me with the name, it was like 4 hours. That shit was everywhere. I didn't even got a contract.
Oh, for real? So it ain't signed yet?
No. Like, I agreed. And like, you know how it is. Sometimes it takes a while to get the contracts. But like, they called with one name. And I said, yeah, whatever. I'll fight that guy. And it was like that day, that name. Oh, yeah, whatever. I'll do that. Then they came back a couple days later, like, actually, how about Reyes? With no date, nothing. I said, yeah, I'll fight Reyes. So then they were like, well, how about this day or this day? So that I said, I would rather it be, I just didn't want to fight in November. Like it was November and another date. Like, I don't want to fight in November. So they're like, all right, cool, the other one. And that was the last I've heard. and then it got announced.
Who announced it? Was it somebody from his team?
It has to be, because the date that they announced and the date they gave me is wrong.
It's time for today's top memes. Third place was found over on Instagram and was posted by As Shopped As It Gets. Second place meme was found over on X and was posted by WCMU MMA. And the top pick was found over on Reddit and was posted by Lucky Border. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to stay in the talk.